The medicine cabinet of nature is rarely lined with glittering labels or celebrity endorsements. More often it murmurs from the pantry shelf, wrapped in a plain cardboard box you paid less than $1 for. Sodium bicarbonate, baking soda, has sat there for decades, whisked into cakes, sprinkled into refrigerators, forgotten in the rush for laboratory-sounding supplements. Yet when twilight settles and the body shifts from conquest to repair, that humble white powder can act like a backstage crew of chemists, sweeping away metabolic clutter so tomorrow's curtain rises on joints that bend, muscles that obey, a stomach that stays silent, and a mind that actually greets the alarm. Why don't headlines trumpet it? Because no patent protects a mineral verse documented by Egyptian artisans 4,000 years ago. Because soft drink giants, antacid brands, and sleep aid manufacturers earn billions solving, temporarily, the very discomforts baking soda can soothe for pennies. But shelf price has no bearing on cellular value, and science has begun to measure what folk wisdom long suspected. Taken thoughtfully, baking soda water before bed can smooth acid peaks, blunt inflammatory sparks, nudge pH back toward its sweet spot, help kidneys clear the bloodstream's exhaust, even coax overzealous immune cells into a calmer stance. Consider heartburn, that molten creep rising behind the breastbone precisely when you lie down hoping for rest. It happens because the lower esophageal gate tires with age and gravity no longer helps. A teaspoon of sodium bicarbonate swirled into cool water turns the stomach's red-hot hydrochloric brew into a gentler saline solution, buying you hours of neutral peace. Randomized trials with bicarbonate-rich mineral water report similar relief, confirming what generations of midnight sufferers discovered without journals. Alkalinity quenches acid. The solution is neither glamorous nor trendy, it simply works. Shift the lens to muscles humming with lactic dissatisfaction after a day of gardening, stair climbing, or humble physiotherapy. Intense effort floods tissue with hydrogen ions, dropping local pH and jamming the calcium locks that make fibers contract smoothly. Sports science laboratories have repeatedly shown that ingesting baking soda raises systemic bicarbonate and blood pH, creating a buffer zone that escorts those rogue ions out faster. Athletes swallow it to sprint longer. Ordinary people can sip it at night to wake with quads that no longer scold them for yesterday's ambitions. Far deeper, kidneys labor all day filtering acids produced by protein metabolism and environmental toxins. Chronic kidney disease often accelerates because tubules bathe in acid they can no longer expel. Clinical meta-analyses reveal that supplementing with modest doses of sodium bicarbonate slows the slide of glomerular filtration rate, effectively buying the kidneys time. Night is the organ's maintenance window, and providing the extra buffer precisely when blood flow is lowest can tip the balance between overload and recovery. For anyone cursed with Gout's glass shard jolts through the big toe, alkalizing urine is not academic chemistry, but tangible mercy. Uric acid crystals dissolve when pH rises, receding like frost under morning sun. Combining baking soda with physician-prescribed urate-lowering drugs has been shown to shrink tophi, reduce flare frequency, and protect kidneys from stone formation, all without adding new side effects when dosed judiciously. pH balance itself matters beyond specific diagnoses. Modern diets heavy in meat, sugar, coffee, and processed grains leave metabolic ash that skews slightly acidic. The body compensates by pulling alkaline minerals from bone and releasing cortisol, solutions that keep you alive but accelerate osteoporosis and fatigue. Research with bicarbonate-rich spring water demonstrates how a gentle alkaline shift before sleep decreases overnight calcium loss and lowers markers of muscle breakdown. Wake up less sore, keep more bone. The equation is elegant. Even urinary tract discomfort meets its match. Bacteria flourish in acidic urine, raise pH, and their grip loosens. Women suffering from recurrent nocturia report fewer nighttime bathroom dashes and less burning when a short course of oral sodium bicarbonate lifts urinary pH above 7. It is not an antibiotic, but it is terrain modification, turning a battlefield into a desert for microbes so the immune cavalry can finish the job. On the frontier of oncology, where hope and hype often mingle, researchers probe baking soda's ability to neutralize the acidic halo around tumors. Cancer cells ferment glucose, dumping lactic acid that erodes neighboring tissue and masks them from immune patrols. Animal studies show that systemic bicarbonate flattens this pH moat, slowing metastasis and making chemotherapy drugs more effective. Human data remain early, but a handful of compassionate use cases, ovarian tumors shrinking after oral alkaline therapy, suggest the door is not closed. No one claims baking soda cures cancer, yet its safety profile and plausible mechanism justify continued investigation. Autoimmune conditions like rheumatoid arthritis revolve around mistrained defenders attacking home territory. Ingesting baking soda appears to whisper new orders to those soldiers. Macrophage populations in the spleen drift from inflammatory M1 to regulatory M2 phenotypes, reducing joint swelling and morning stiffness. Patients in pilot studies reported easier fists and less pre-dawn dread, a priceless dividend when inflammation once scripted their day before coffee even dripped. Of course, power wielded carelessly becomes peril. Baking soda is sodium heavy. Exceed a teaspoon and you risk bloating, hypertension spikes, or the rare but serious metabolic alkalosis. Pregnant people, those with congestive heart failure, poorly controlled blood pressure, or strict sodium restrictions should treat it as medicine, not spice. And medicine requires a doctor's supervision. The same bottle that safeguards one stomach could sabotage another. Used wisely, the protocol is simple. Finish your last meal, wait 90 minutes for digestion to settle, then dissolve half a teaspoon, 2.5 grams, in an 8-ounce glass of room temperature water. Stir until silent, sip slowly, feel the faint fizz count down heartburn's fuse. 2 or 3 nights per week suffice for maintenance. Alternate nights during a gout attack. 14 days on, then a pause to evaluate blood pressure and electrolyte labs if you are using it to buffer exercise or support CKD. Within a fortnight, many notice subtler reflux, lighter legs, fewer 3 a.m. bathroom trips, and a dawn that begins without antacid tablets clacking across the bedside table. No remedy should claim universality, but baking soda's resume, acid neutralizer, performance buffer, renal ally, immune diplomat, earns it a seat at the round table of self-care alongside turmeric, magnesium, and omega-3s. It costs little, stores indefinitely, and demands only respect for dosage and context. That anonymity may explain its absence from billboards, but anonymity cannot bury efficacy forever. Word spreads at kitchen counters, in online communities, through videos like the one you are scripting now. People try it, feel better, tell family, and the quiet revolution continues. So tonight, before you dim the light, gaze at that unremarkable box. Inside lies chemistry capable of turning burning throats into silent ones, restless legs into ready ones, anxious kidneys into confident filters. All science asks in return is that you measure, dissolve, and listen to your own body's report. If the message is relief, share the knowledge. If caution, adjust respectfully. Healing seldom arrives in fanfare. Sometimes it sighs into a glass, bubbles twice, and waits for you to drink.